Hello, my name is Nicolas Stackhouse, and in this video we'll be taking a look at my track Absolute, a demo I made for the Palindrome 1 PCM library. For this track, I decided to go for a hybrid trailer track. The structure follows the common trailer track format, meaning it is divided into 3 acts. So Act 1, or the introduction, is typically a little more ambient and it might tease the main theme or melody a tiny bit. Act 2, we reinforce that melody or theme, but then we start adding a few more layers, some movement, tension, just to kind of create a bit more drama, so that we create that build into Act 3, which is all the energy is really just gonna happen. It's gonna be the most intense and exciting part. And at the end of Act 3, it's very common to find or have a small little signature or a callback to the main theme or melody of the track. Let's start by listening to the master. For synth chords 1, I'm using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM, and we'll see that there is some automation over here. This automation is linked to the filter envelope, and if we solo it, we'll hear what it does. For synth chords 2, I'm using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM. And for synth chords 3, I'm using the Juno 60 UDS. So the alarms are basically just parts that add just a tiny bit more tension, a bit more urgency. Or for alarm 1, I'm using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM. 2 is also using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM. And alarm 3, Palindrome 1 UDS PCM. I'll do the synth arps. Synth arps are using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM. Same thing for synth arp 2. And for synth arp 4, we have a mix of Palindrome 2 and Adastra Ensemble. Let's go ahead and listen to all the synths and keys soloed. And now for Act 3. And a simple little callback to the melody. For synth bass 1, I'm using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM. For synth bass 2, I'm using analog film bass. And finally, for synth bass 3, I'm using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM. Let's listen to the synth bass soloed. A pulsing bass is a great way to add drive in a track, especially when it comes to trailer music. Now on to the ambient textures. For pad 1, I'm using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM, where we have some automation linked to the cutoff of a low-pass filter. For pad 2, we're using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM. The hybrid drones here are from the Hybrid Tools Volume 2 library. Let's go ahead and listen to the ambient textures soloed. Let's take a look at the risers and noise. The audio tracks here are risers from the ATO Hybrid Tools Terminus and Hybrid Tools Volume 2 libraries. The airy stings are from the Hybrid Paragon library. The synth riser is using Palindrome 1 UDS PCM, where we have a cutoff filter gradually opening up. We also have some distortion, giving that extra little grit. The noise is from the Juno 60 UDS library, using the A noise part. The Soundpaint instance here of risers is using a mixture risers from the Hybrid Tools Terminus library. Let's go ahead and listen to the risers and noise soloed. On to the hits and slams. For the sub-hits, I'm using the hybrid sub-hits TM. For hit number 1, I'm using a mixture of the hybrid perk slams TM and percussion clangs full. Hit 2 is using the hybrid perk slams TM. Hit 3 is also using the hybrid perk slams TM. Hit 4 is using the percussion clangs full part. And hit 5 is using the hybrid perk slams TM. Let's go ahead and listen to the hits and slams soloed. Let's take a look at the percussion. We have a kick from the Hybrid Cinematic Cinekicks EQ library. The snares are from Majestic Perk, where we're using the snare rolls, both large and small. We can see some automation here where it rises up in dynamics. The toms are also from the Majestic Perk library. Again, we have some rolls here, where we're similar to the snares, where they're rising up in dynamics. And for the claps and sticks percussion, we're using the Majestic Perk library. On to the cymbals. For cymbals 1, we're using the Majestic Perk cymbals roll, where we have some automation raising the dynamics. And cymbals 2 is just a simple hit from the Majestic Perk cymbals library. For the taiko rolls, both the long and short are from the Hybrid Tools 2 library. Let's go ahead and listen to the percussion soloed. Onto the strings. We're going to go ahead and start with the longs. So we have string arcs 1, which is using the Adastra Ensemble all full arc concertino patch. String arcs 2 is using the Majestic Strings arc control. And for the sustains, we're using the Majestic Strings power sustain. So let's give them a listen. Soloed. Now the sustains. For the shorts, I'm using the 18th century ostinato violin and the agile fast articulation. Let's give a listen to it soloed. Great for adding a little tension and drive. Let's take a look at the brass ensemble. For the brass marcato, we're using the Majestic Brass library. 66 tubas is from the ATO 66 tubas Legion library. 66 trombones is also from the ATO Legion series. The horns are from the ATO Century Brass library, where we're using the horns 12 soaring long articulation. The trumpets are also from the Century Brass ensemble. Let's listen to all the brass soloed. The Brahms primarily consist of megahorns from the Hybrid Tools Volume 2 library. We have the Brahms Horn Generator library. Let's listen to all the Brahms soloed. Onto the choirs. For the epic choir, I'm using the Lacrimosa Marcato patch. For soft choir 1 and 2, I'm using the Requiem Nova library. Let's go ahead and listen to all choir parts soloed. That's the end of the walkthrough. Thank you for listening.